Hello Aries, Ashley here. We're going to do your reading for this final week of April. So we're wrapping up April, but we're specifically looking into this eclipse this week. We have a new moon eclipse in Taurus, and we're going to take a look at what it is that you're releasing and what it is that you're bringing in as some themes around this eclipse this week. So keep in mind that this eclipse is just getting started. Its energy has the potential to last 6 months or more, right? So we're going to look at just a snapshot of kind of what to expect starting out for you. So it does look like this could be a bit of a challenging one for Aries because we have the overall energy is resistance here. So there could very well be some things that you're having to release and let go of that you might not be quite ready to release, right? You know, that's kind of how eclipses can present themselves. We are going to pull some tarot and see exactly what might be coming up for you. But I do recommend you check your other placements as well, just to get an overall picture of what might be showing up. So it does look to me like, in fact, I want to look quickly. We have this carnal card as to what you are releasing. And you could think of this row here as like the Scorpio aspect of this eclipse, because the south node is in Scorpio. So what we're releasing is, you know, potentially like relationships that have been highly sexualized or maybe not very deep, right? Maybe not fully respecting or honoring what it is that you require in partnerships. And it could very well be that what you're releasing at this time isn't necessarily something bad, right? You've just had an experience in relating to others that is now passing and becoming something else. So in this, what is coming in and what's showing up for you is this meditation in the reverse. So I want to look at that quickly to get a just an overall picture of what might be coming in. And it's in the reverse, so it's kind of like you're stepping into not being so withdrawn from your day-to-day experience. So if you've been in situations where you've kind of, you know, escaped a little bit. It says, if you've drawn this card in reverse, you're trying to escape from life. By preferring not to get your hands messy, so to speak, you're trying to make yourself exempt from the experience of life. So this is really getting you into the day-to-day embodied experience of life here. Really experiencing the highs and lows rather than, so how do I want to say this? So instead of the highs and lows throwing you left, right, and center, it'll be more like this experience of just feeling everything and therefore being at kind of more of a steady pace, or a less erratic kind of experience here. So I do feel like this is going to talk a lot about partnership, but we're going to see. So this reading's a little bit different for the wrap up for the month, but I really wanted to take a deeper dive into the eclipse. So we have the Beyond, which is the soul card in this deck. It's all about your higher self. We have the Ten of Cups and the Three of Swords. The Queen of Swords the Ace of Wands and the Five of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's a little bit of resistance here, and the Four of Cups. So it feels to me like you're gonna kind of be introduced to sensation here, if that makes sense. So like Taurus, being the North Node, this is a new moon in Taurus. I do feel like you're going to have some experiences come in here where you're kind of forced to experience in the full body. So if you've kind of been in this place in your life where you've avoided difficult situations, or perhaps there's a connection here that you've refused to release because you didn't want to go through the change, because the change can sometimes require moving or your day-to-day experience changing. You don't want to have to put yourself out there for something new here. It does look like you're going to get some pressure in that area of life. It does look to me like you've been very clear about what you want, how you want your day-to-day experience to be. This could be in relationship, career, friendships, that kind of thing. Like you have a very focused and logical approach to things. You might also be in a position where you're typically in charge of or in power over your day-to-day experience. To me, this feels like perhaps like a feminine energy that's very much in their masculine, or just a very masculine energy here, like very in charge, right? But it does feel like you've kind of been in that space so that you could get to know yourself, find your own confidence in how you're able to handle day-to-day life. So whether you're single or you're in a couple, or you're successful in your career, whatever it is, it does feel like you're being called to really get into kind of the nitty-gritty of life. And that doesn't have to mean like bad things. It feels like getting you really involved with the present moment. Like getting out there and getting your hands dirty, feeling what it is to really deeply enjoy a moment and feel pain as well. Kind of an interesting reading already. We're going to get some clarifiers and see what specific topic this is referring to. But we have the Six of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Six of Cups. So it does look like there's a potential here that you've been in a connection. It could be that the people in your life at this time you've been with for some time. Like deep soul connections that have taught you some things about yourself, about how to relate to others. But really we're stepping into this need for things to be perfectly balanced. And this is really a theme for everyone, not just you, Aries. It does feel like you're kind of having to take charge with your own intentions. You have a vision of what you want things to be, but maybe that's changed from the past. Maybe in relationships in the past you were avoidant, or maybe you put so much work into those connections but didn't receive as much in return, for example. Like, I definitely get the feeling that the Aries I'm talking to right now put a lot of effort into things. They take charge, they make sure everything's handled, and you're being asked to really step into a more equal give and take in those dynamics, which can be uncomfortable if you're used to being the one who did most of the work, right? Let's clarify all of these, and then we will talk about what might be showing up. But overall, the theme here, we have the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. So there's definitely some resistance here to letting go of things that maybe you thought should be around forever. Connections, family dynamics. Maybe this is about a specific lover for you that you wanted long-term connection with. And it looks like there could be some new beginning here that kind of throws that plan into a little bit of chaos here. All right, let's look at what we're releasing. We have the Soul card, the Beyond card, your higher self here. What does it want to say? We have the Nine of Swords and the Fool. So there's this, okay, I'm worried about this new leap, but it does feel like this is something that's been calling to you, so you might know what I'm talking about. Let's see, Queen of Swords. We have the Six of Swords, so we're having to move on from something here and into the future, but we are definitely at a crossroads needing to make a decision, and it does feel like there's a bit of resistance to this. With the Two of Pentacles, again, there's a choice here. We have Justice and the Five of Cups. So it feels like it's difficult because we have this emotional connection to something. Now, it could certainly be a Libra here with the Justice card showing up, but ultimately we're having to let go of something in the past because that balance hasn't been struck, right? So you could be faced with a decision come this eclipse time, and it puts you in this feeling like, okay, I'm not totally sure about the future. I don't know if I want to take this leap. I feel called to it, but I'm still holding on to what I know, the past. And this could be love, this could be anything, right? But you do feel pressured mentally to make a choice here, to move on to something new. Let's look at what's coming in, and then we'll get the overall theme here clarified. So we have the Three of Swords, Five of Swords, Four Cups. It's really kind of getting you into an experience rather than avoiding it. So it does feel to me like whatever this is that you're feeling pressured to choose, something that's coming in for you to take this leap of faith on, we're really having a hard time here. And it does feel like you're going to kind of get forced into making a move here. With the Three of Swords, we have the Death card. So there's some sort of ending coming through here that is not going to feel fantastic. It's going to be difficult. We have the Five of Cups and the Three of Swords here. So whatever it is that we're being forced to release, we're going to feel this. It's going to be mentally challenging. In particular, this eclipse itself is really being challenged by Saturn in Aquarius. So it's really forcing us into an uncomfortable place and pressuring us mentally to make choices about the future that we might not like right now, but will eventually, here in the next year or so, prove to have been the right thing, right? So hindsight will later be 2020. With the Five of Swords, we have the Knight of Wands and the King of Swords. So it feels to me like we're dealing with a strong partnership here. We have the Queen of Swords and then the King of Swords. And it feels like to me you're dealing with an individual that is quite intelligent, definitely presents themselves in a very wise and decisive and logical way. But I do feel like they have an aspect to themselves that maybe is a little bit dramatic, a little bit immature in the way that they deal with conflict. They might be very self-serving, and you've been in this position to kind of almost enable that in them. And meanwhile, you're feeling emotionally dissatisfied with how that has been going. Four of Cups, we get the Five of Wands. Yeah. And the Sun. So it looks to me like this could be a partnership, maybe even a boss, right? That you're having to release here because it's a lower level drama. And what's interesting here, I'm actually seeing the Scorpions on this Five of Swords, and that is what we're letting go of. So it does look to me like you're going to come kind of front and center with an individual here. Again, could be a lover, could be a boss, and there's an ending taking place because ultimately you want happiness, you want freedom, you want equal give and take, right? But again, there's this resistance on your part to letting it go because it is something that you know. It is something that you have felt has been solid in your life for a period of time. I just saw the Two of Cups, so for many of you, this could be a partnership here. Let's get the overall theme for this eclipse. We have resistance, which we've already talked about. You could be dealing with an Aquarius, by the way, an air sign in particular, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also have some Aries, Scorpio, and some Leo showing up here. Let's look. Overall theme, Ten of Cups. We have Judgment. And the Page of Cups. With the Ace of Wands, we have the Queen of Wands. Some of you have the potential here, and the Five of Pentacles, to be entering into new partnership here with a Leo. The Eight of Swords, we have the Eight of Cups. So yeah, we're struggling with this idea of having to walk away from this. Looks like it could be a work partnership or just a collaboration, a connection that you have with someone romantically. There's this fear of, the resistance here is because there's like, okay, I'm attracting this new potential, this new beginning. It's already showing up in your field here, Aries. But there's this fear of loss. There's a fear of releasing. There's a fear of maybe even rejection here, right? And it could be that this partnership in particular, I feel like, has already been on the rocks. It's not just going to happen at this eclipse. It's something that's been slowly moving towards, you know, its own destruction here. It could be that the fights are increasing, the drama's getting worse. It's just kind of nearing this like heightened point. And it could be that more than once you have tried to mend this. It's almost like you've like tried to scramble to patch it back together so that it doesn't fall apart, because we don't want to lose this. But it does look like ultimately this could be something that's definitely showing up as coming to an end around the time of this eclipse. And it's, for some of you, the person that you're dealing with has been the person that's not emotionally invested or involved. Because we have a lot of swords and wands here on this person's part, but not a lot of cups, right? And so for that equal give and take and partnership to happen, let's see, we have the King of Wands, Queen of Wands here. I actually feel like there's a different partnership showing up here for you that's going to be less about convenience and more about real connection. So hopefully that resonated for someone out there and kind of gives you a heads up as to what's coming in. You know, Death and the Fool card. There's a world and a fool. There's a brand new cycle kicking off here, and it does feel likely that it's related to partnerships, balanced connections, equal give and take. So I will see you in the next one. Again, check your other placements. I hope that was helpful. Have a great week and a great wrap up to the month of April. Bye.